Wow, what's good, family? It's me, Coach 67 Sports TV. Shout out to the awesome and amazing LDBC, Lions Den Boxing community. Shout out to the greatest university in the world, the Southern University, home of the mighty Jaguars. Jaguar Nation, stand up. As you can see, there is no Bayou Sports Talk today. King Ray is not available. And in addition to that, Kay has some things she needs to take care of, so both of them are busy. And as a result, I decided to talk about my favorite topic, which is Southern University football. Now, since we transitioned from the Coach Dooley era to the Coach Terrence Graves era, there has been quite a few transfers to Southern University, quite a few young men that went to Southern University Laboratory School, Southern Lab, which is on the campus of Southern University. Those individuals have come in and transferred to Southern University. I want to talk about one in particular. However, before I get into the one individual that could be a game changer for Southern University, I just kind of want to talk about the transfer portal in general and transfers around the SWAC. Now, we're going to talk about individuals that transferred from one particular, like PWI, Power 5, or whatever, or even a SWAC or HBCU, and transfer to another SWAC school. These individuals can make a difference in the landscape of the SWAC this coming season. All right, first and foremost, we're going to talk about Alabama A&M Bulldogs tight end DJ Nelson. UT Martin tight end DJ Nelson, he transferred to Alabama A&M. Basically, he looking to revive his career and revive Alabama A&M's offense. Now, in the day and age with all these spread offenses, throwing the ball around the field, a lot of teams don't value the tight end as much as they should. However, just looking at Southern University, the spring game, it showed me that if you ever tight end and you're using properly, either he could do one or two things. Either he could jumpstart your offense or he could be a safety, a security blanket for your quarterback. Now, you don't always need to flex him out wide or split him out wide for him to be at his best. I think, tight ends like Jimmy Graham, it kind of got us in the mode of, hey, if you got a tight end in 2024, and he's a weapon, he's a threat. You have to flex him out wide. You don't need to necessarily flex him out wide for him to be a threat and for him to be, successful. So, having a tight end in day and age could be beneficial. The next one we talking about, next transfer to a SWAC school, is Andrew Body. And of course, we know Andrew Body was Texas Southern starting quarterback. He got hurt early in the year. And after a certain point, I guess he made it known that basically he was going to transfer. He transferred to Alabama State, which is kind of interesting. He didn't transfer to PWI Power 5. He transferred to another SWAC school. So it's going to be interesting to see how things play out. Is Alabama State going to be the favorite in the East now that Andrew Body, has transferred there? I doubt it. I still think it's going to be a two-team race. I think FAMU, since they're having a huge influx of transfers now that they have their coaching situation settled. Once Willie Simmons, left FAMU and he went to Duke to be the running backs coach, a lot of those four-star recruits that he brought into FAMU, a lot of those guys left. However, now that their coaching situation is stable and it's settled, there's a huge influx of players transferring in the transfer portal. Like, we're not going to touch on each and every single one of these guys that transfer to FAMU, but there has been an influx of transfers. Now, I'm assuming that FAMU is going to win the East. However, it's going to be imperative that a lot of SWAC fans and a lot of other teams in the SWAC realize, hey, FAMU has an influx of players. Salute to my brother Jared Lovin Green, who stopped through. Salute to you, bro. And a lot of these topics I'm touching on in terms of the players that's transferring, we're probably going to talk about on his show tomorrow, the Southern Baller Show, which will be at 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So we talked about Andrew Body. You know, it's going to be interesting to see what impact Andrew Body has at Alabama State. Let's be truthful. If he transferred from Texas Southern to Alabama State, more than likely he's probably going to be the starter. So he transferred to Alabama State from Texas Southern. All right, next we have defensive back Markel Mallory. This individual, he's going to be looking to come in to Alcorn State and make a difference. Of course, Fred McNair is no longer at Alcorn State. He's now the tight ends coach at Southern. So it's going to be interesting to see how Alcorn State uses him to improve their secondary and improve the pass defense. So, that's going to be, a big get in terms of getting a DB that could potentially bolster the secondary at Alcorn State. All right, the next transfer we have is defensive back Quentin Sterling, and he transfers to Arkansas Pine Bluff. Last season, I'm going to be truthful, Pine Bluff secondary was kind of suspect. Outside of Harold Blood throwing a pick in the first play of the game against Pine Bluff secondary was kind of suspect to say the least. So him transferring to Pine Bluff, I think that's going to help APB secondary out. All right, next individual that transfer. Bethune-Cookman got linebacker Orem Patu. This is going to be the second season that Randall Wood is going to be the head coach of Bethune-Cookman for the Wildcats. So, they're going to look to get things, moving in the right direction. They have a lot of transfers. I don't know if there's a lot of NIL money in the state of Florida, but truthfully speaking, Bethune-Cookman and FAMU, they both have an influx of players that's transferring in their program for PWIs. We're talking about players that's like 3-star and 4-star caliber players. And the thing but Bethune-Cookman, the vast majority of these players that's transferring to Bethune, they're pretty much going to be on the defensive side of the ball. So it's going to be interesting to see if Orem Patu and some of these other players that transferred to Bethune-Cookman and transferring to their school from PWIs, and not only that, but being on their defense, if it's going to make them one of the better defensive teams in the SWAC. So moving on from Bethune, FAMU, of course, they're getting a transfer quarterback, Daniel Richardson. Now, this is going to be a huge game changer for Bethune because he transferring, we know that Jeremy Musa, he graduated from FAMU. He's no longer going to be there. That was the biggest glaring hole and glaring weakness, once the Celebration Bowl ended and, they were the Black National Champions. That was the biggest hole that they needed to fill. And it seems as if, it was going to be a area of concern. It was going to be an issue. However, the fact that, they're getting a quarterback of his caliber, Daniel Richardson, it's going to be interesting to see how he's going to transfer from Florida Atlantic to FAMU and how he's going to replace Jeremy Musa. So it's going to be interesting to see if, he could fill a void left by Jeremy Musa. Also, Deuce Jones, he transfers to Grambling State. Now, Grambling State is another team, of course, they have Southern University's last two head coaches as their offensive and defensive coordinator. Mickey Joseph is the head coach who was, at one point the leading candidate to become Southern University's next head coach. So it's going to be interesting to see, Grambling is another team that have a lot of transfers. They have an influx of transfers. So it's going to be interesting to see how, some of these transfers adjust. And if wide receiver Deuce Jones, is he, I've been hearing a lot of things about this young man. It's going to be interesting to see, is he the goods like everyone says he is? Is he going to take Grambling State, to the next level from a receiving standpoint? All right, next on this list, we have defensive back Cameron Smith. He's transferring into J-State. It's going to be interesting to see how TC Taylor and JSU, they had a 7-4 record last year. Certain individuals thought they were going to win a SWAC. Myself personally, I had FAMU penciled in to win it all. For a minute, it didn't like they were going to get it done in a Celebration Bowl, but they did. But it's going to be interesting to see how defensive back Cameron Smith, how he helps Jackson State secondary. Is Jackson State secondary going to be much improved? Is it going to be, a decent secondary? Because we know we live in a pass-happy day and age. And, of course, it's not just, in the NFL. It's not just on a college level, not on a high school level, but it's all levels of football, and the SWAC is no exception. You're going to have a lot of pass-happy teams in the SWAC. And, of course, just going to Southern University's spring game, they were talking about how they were going to try to transition to being more of a running team, and that didn't happen. They passed the ball like 85% of the time. So a lot of these teams getting, pass rushers. I noticed a lot of players that's transferring to these different SWAC schools, they're either pass rushers, they're quarterbacks, they're wide receivers, or they're defensive backs. Moving to the next player that transferred into the SWAC, quarterback Ruben Lee. He's transferring to Mississippi Valley State. Now, of course, we know at one point Harold Blood was supposed to transfer from Southern to Mississippi Valley. However, he balked and he pivoted and he went over to Mizzou to be with his brother. A lot of individuals like, well, how could Harold Blood struggle so much last year at Southern and then eventually transfer and go to Missouri? But of course, I knew in the back of my mind it had to be some kind of tie or connection to get him from Southern to Mizzou. Of course, as a member of Jaguar Nation, I wish Harold Blood well, but it's going to be interesting to see now that he's not transferring to Valley, that they're getting Ruben Lee to, basically transfer to Mississippi Valley. It's going to be interesting to see because, the quarterback situation, I thought Harold Blood potentially transferring there, I didn't think he was going to take, Valley up and make Valley like the top team in the SWAC or anything. But I thought it would give him some stability at that particular position. But Ruben Lee, maybe him transferring there, is going to give them what they need. Next, we have Prairie View. Running back Lamega McDowell, he's transferring to Prairie View. And, of course, we know PV, they were at the top of the SWAC West last year, and we know the West is going to be open. It's going to be wide open. It's going to be interesting to see, can this particular running back, Lamega McDowell, it's going to be interesting to see if he can take Prairie View over the top, because, their running game, it was decent, but, I wasn't moved when they came to AW. All right, next, of course, getting to Southern, defensive back Jamarius Brown, he transferred from Miles to Southern. And, watching Southern University in the Blue versus Gold spring game, like a month and a half ago, the second week of April, the secondary is the biggest area of need, is the biggest area of concern on the defensive side of the ball. Now we know overall, I made this known overall in terms of the whole team itself, the offensive line is the biggest area of need, is the biggest area of concern. However, in terms of the defense, I think the secondary is the biggest area of need. They gave up a lot of big plays in the Blue versus Gold spring game. So maybe potentially getting him, it could kind of help the secondary. They had a few transfers in Southern University secondary, so it'd be interesting to see what type of difference he makes. Next, wide receiver Donald McKinney. He transferred to Texas Southern. This is going to be Chris Dishman's first year at Texas Southern. Now, we know Fred McNair was supposed to be the next head coach at Texas Southern. However, I guess certain members of the board, they weren't sold on him. They wanted Andre Johnson, who played for the Houston Texans, to give that coach prime effect. But, truthfully speaking, I guess they figured Chris Dishman was the best of both worlds. He had the same type of coaching experience that, of course, he didn't have the same level of success that Fred McNair had, but he has coaching experience like Fred McNair. And in addition to that, he also played in the NFL the way Andre Johnson did. So Chris Dishman is the best of both worlds. So, he was a Pro Bowl player. He played for the Houston Oilers. So he might not have the same cachet and profile from a player standpoint as Andre Johnson. However, he also has a coaching experience with Fred McNair. So they went in his direction. So it's going to be interesting to see if wide receiver Donald McKinney, if he can come in and he can make an impact in terms of Texas Southern's, wide receiver core. So the next player I'm going to talk about, and of course, this is going to be the last player for this brief Southern University football show, a little short show I'm giving y'all because, of course, we're not doing Bayou Sports Talk today. Now, since Terrence Graves is the head coach and Eric Dooley is no longer the head coach at Southern University, of course, he's the offensive coordinator now at Grambling State University. There's been an influx of young men transferring to Southern University that went to Southern University Laboratory School. I don't know if Coach Eric Dooley did not recruit Southern University Lab School, if Southern Lab players really didn't want to play for Coach Dooley. I don't know what the situation is. Of course, you had a couple of them that did go to Southern Lab, but to me, it seems as if now there's an influx of players that went to Southern Lab coming to Southern University now. And the one player I want to talk about is Angelo Izzard Jr. A lot of individuals believe that he could potentially be the next starting quarterback at Southern University. A lot of individuals believe that not only could he be the next starting quarterback, but he can make Southern University the team to beat, not just in the SWAC West, but in the SWAC overall in general. To me, of course, he's on the smallest side. He's like, 5'11", like 190. From an academic standpoint, he excelled at Southern University Laboratory School. If I'm not mistaken, I think he had like a 4.7 GPA. I watched some of his highlights on Huddle. Basically, he's a lot. He's different than the three quarterbacks Southern University has right now. He's a lot different than Noah, Jalen Woods, and Zay Tessett. Of course, of the three, I think Noah has the most experience. He goes through his progression quicker. He makes quicker reads. He makes better decisions. So, but even with that being said, I think Zay Tessett of that group, I think he's the most athletic. And it's not saying a lot, but of that group of Southern University quarterbacks, I think he's the most athletic. And in addition to him being the most athletic, I think on the downside, I think his footwork is the worst of the three. His throwing mechanics is the worst of the three. And, of course, in the spring game, he nearly threw a pick six that, of course, the DB that transferred from Wyoming, I can't think his name at the moment, he was tackled on the 3-yard line. So he didn't throw a pick six, but he nearly threw a pick six. But the point I'm trying to make is all three of Southern University's quarterbacks are more pocket passers, whereas Angelo Izzard Jr., he's more of a dual threat quarterback. He's far more athletic than the three quarterbacks Southern University has on his roster. So it's going to be interesting to see if when Southern University, of course, shout out and salute to my brother Jay Barr, salute Jay Barr. But it's going to be interesting to see if Angelo Izzard Jr., him transferring into Southern University, a couple individuals that I talked to that saw him play at Southern Lab, basically they're saying he's a dual threat quarterback. He's a dynamic quarterback. They feel like Southern University's current crop of quarterbacks. They feel like Southern University's current crop of quarterbacks. They feel he's better than all three of them. They feel like he's going to come in immediately, make an immediate impact. He's going to immediately become the starting quarterback. To me, I think that's high praise for the young man. It kind of shows what he did at Southern Lab if individuals already have this feeling about him, but I think it's way too early to jump to that type of conclusion. Based on what I saw during the spring game, I think Noah more than likely he's going to be quarterback definitely going into summer camp. It's going to be interesting to see if, things remain the same in terms of when the actual season starts. But to me, based on what I saw in terms of the spring game, my quarterback rating for Southern University quarterbacks is first, I have Noah. Second, in a close second, I have Jalen Woods. And then third, I have Zay Tessitt. However, Angelo Izzard Jr. transferring to Southern, he can kind of disrupt what I saw in the spring game. Plans could change, things could change. So it's going to be interesting to see if Angelo Izzard Jr. is he the answer to what Southern University fans are looking for in terms of being a starting quarterback. Me personally, I think, Noah probably going to get the nod. I think more so than a quarterback position, I think the bigger issue, the biggest area of concern is the offensive line play. Them not being able to run the ball in the spring game, them having to resort to passing the ball like 85% of the time, them having to resort to using a lot of screens, whether it's screens to the running backs, screens to the wide receivers, whether that's jailbreak screens, bubble screens, tunnel screens, whatever. They use the screen game to kind of supplement their lack of running game. And the defensive line, they essentially got after the offensive line. It was real aggressive. Outside of the offside penalties early in the game for the defensive line dominated the offensive line the entire first quarter. So more than anything, hopefully Angelo Izzard Jr. is everything that he's advertised to be, but I don't think he's the answer immediately. Maybe he can be that guy. I don't know. He might be better than Noah. He might be better than Jalen Woods. He might be better than Zay Tessitt. I don't know that. He could be the answer. Maybe, maybe not. But I think right now, offensively, I think the biggest issue for Southern University is Southern University offensive line. I think that's the major issue, the major area of concern that Coach Terrence Graves and the coaching staff needs to address. Like I said, from a defensive standpoint, I think first and foremost is their lack of depth because, at a certain point during that second quarter, a few minutes in, they get, offense started to get the momentum going and they just kind of went in on the defense. The defense gave up a lot of big plays, a lot of huge plays. So I think they need to add some depth to the defense. And in addition to that, the secondary gave up a lot of big plays. So it's going to be interesting to see does the secondary improve and is the secondary better coming into the season. Now, one thing I didn't point out, Kelby Givens did not play in the spring game. So as good as the defensive line was, it's probably going to be even better once you add him to that mix. You add him to that equation. So it's going to be interesting to see, how much better the defense can be during the regular season and how much better the secondary is going to get. So in terms of, the game changer that a few individuals have told me that Angelo Izzard Jr. is going to be, hopefully he's as good as advertised. I'm not holding my breath. I'm not saying he's not that guy. I'm not saying he won't be a great addition to Southern University's quarterback room. But, just like everything else, I kind of have a wait-and-see approach. I'm going to give the three quarterbacks that we have on the roster already the benefit of the doubt. But we'll see how things play out. But more than anything, I think at the end of the day, as a member of Jaguar Nation, as a diehard Southern University fan, has been going to Southern University football games my entire life. I've been going to Southern University football games before I knew I was going. That's how long I've been going. I want what's best for Southern University's football team. At the end of the day, I want them to be as successful as possible. I think in a perfect world, Southern University wins the SWAC West, then wins the SWAC championship, and goes on to win the Celebration Bowl. But we just kind of have to take it one game at a time. And coming up in my upcoming video, I'm gonna talk about and break down Southern University schedule, like game by game. I might do it in video format. I might do it in live stream. More than likely, it'll probably be a video. And in terms of the transfer, the big transfer, the big get, Angelo Izzard Jr. from Southern Lab, transferring to Southern University. I've waited to see approach. Let's see how things play out. So hopefully y'all enjoyed this live stream. I want to give a major shout out to everybody that's in the building. My brother Jerry Loving Green. Don't forget to check him out. His twin JB, myself, the brother Brent Fox, brother Big Joe Townsend, occasionally the brother Jake Good. Tomorrow, 3:30 p.m., the Southern Baller Show. Y'all come check us out on his channel. Salute to the brother Jay Ball, who always showing a lot of love and support. Appreciate you. And everybody that's going to drop in, check out the live stream later on. We're going to catch it on playback. I appreciate everybody that's been supporting the channel, especially my day ones. Everybody's been rocking with me since day one. I appreciate y'all to the highest, especially, people that's, drop through, show love, like Blackwater Bayou, Motivation to Be a Millionaire, Relax and Calm Rain. Everybody that come through, show love, everybody that's been rocking with the channel, all the members of Jaguar Nation, all my brethren in the LDBC, everybody that come through and check out the Southern Baller Show. I appreciate y'all all. Appreciate y'all to the fullest. Appreciate y'all to the highest. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the live stream. Like it. Share it. If you have not done so already, subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so you can be alerted anytime I post any new videos, anytime we go live. I'll catch y'all on the rebound because I'm used to it being the Southern Baller Show, Bayou Sports Talk. We're going to return next week with episode 46 of Bayou Sports Talk next week. If everything is all good with King Ray and Kay, we'll be back next week with Bayou Sports Talk. So hopefully y'all enjoyed this real quick live stream, this real quick installment of Southern University Football Show. I'll catch y'all on the rebound. Peace and blessings.